gather together in love. Brother, sister, you are not alone. Brother, sister, welcome home. We gather together in hope. We gather together in tears. We gather together in laughter. We gather together in truth. Brother, sister, you are not alone. Brother, sister, welcome home. We gather together in friendship. We gather together in faith. We gather together in harmony. We gather together in God. Brother, sister, you are not alone. Brother, sister, welcome home.
Welcome home. Welcome home, no matter where you are on this planet or anywhere else for that matter. You are welcome here. We begin now. Be serious. This is church. We begin by acknowledging that we are on the sacred territorial lands of the Indigenous people all across Vancouver Island, of the Coast Salish people, and here in Nanaimo of the Nanaimo First Nation, and all across Canada, or Turtle Island, the many Indigenous, Inuit, and Métis peoples. We salute you. We are partners, and we work forward together to working for a better future. Haitska. And so now let us have some more music.
Myself the way I am. There's nothing I need to change. I'll always be the perfect me. There's nothing to rearrange. I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Now I love you the way you are. There's nothing you need to do. When I feel the love inside myself, it's easy to love you too. Behind your fears, your rage and tears, I see your shining star. And I love you just the way you are. The way it is, 'cause I can clearly see that all the things I judge are done by people just like me. So till the birth of peace on earth that only love can bring, I'll help it grow by loving everything. I love myself the way I am, and still I want to grow. But change outside can only come when deep inside I know I'm beautiful and capable of being the best me I can. And I love myself just the way I am. Yes, I love myself just the way I am. decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down that road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now.
Well, thank you for making it perfectly clear that we're all about love here.
Hallelujah.
So would you join me in an opening prayer? Let's just turn inside for a moment to become aware of the love that we are and how lovable we are and how it's perfectly reasonable to love ourselves exactly the way we are now, on our path to a greater being, but always perfect right where we are, always growing in love, always sharing our love, always growing by our own love and the love we receive from others. And indeed, that is why we are here today, just to exchange love. And everything we do is exactly that, simply exchanging love. And so we sit in gratitude for each other and for this wisdom. And so it is. Again, I would like to share with you wisdom of James Dillett Freeman. Really in love with this man. Okay, so we say the Buddhists say of you that you are in your essence a void. But Genesis tells us that spirit moved upon the face of the void. Life began to write on the clean slate. You have thought thoughts. Each thought has left its trace on the slate. You have spoken words. Each word has left its trace. You have done deeds. Each deed has left its trace. You are these traces. You, the person, that is what you are. Except for this, there is only a clean slate. You are the prisoner of what you have been. You are wrapped in the chains of causality. The East sees you as caught in karmic law. Islam sees you as under the spell of kismet. Orthodox Christianity sees you as predestined to sin or be saved. Scientific materialism sees you as a minor cog in a mechanistic universe and lectures about determinism, behaviorism, conditioned reflexes. What are you? You are your genes, and your infantile environment determined who you would be, the modern psychologist tells me. There is no question he is right. I am my genes. I am my infancy. I do not believe that any reasonable human being questions their molding influence. But likewise, and paradoxically, I do not believe that any reasonable human seriously questions that he or she is free. The answer we arrive at depends on the point from which we start. Some truths come from the inside out, some from the outside in. Determinism, this is an outside-in truth. Free will, this is an inside-out truth. All the great inconsistency resolve themselves this way. Take time and eternity. Can there be a beginning or an end? When we look outside, we see only beginnings and ends. Each beginning has an end, which is a beginning, which has an end, which is a beginning. When we look inside, we see eternity. No ends, no beginnings, a state of being, not becoming. For we come not on circumferences, but to the center. The immortal self inside, what person is there who does not feel immortal? And now, following another song from Sharon, we'll welcome once again Reverend Amanda Pope.
When I'm feeling down and blue, I found a trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. I wake up with a bright attitude. I fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. What you thinking, 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 what you thinking. You gotta watch your thinking, 'cause when I'm feeling down and blue, I found a trick that I'll share with you. I can choose a better way with every little thought I think. If I wake up with a bad attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think. Day by day I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Relatively unscathed.
Wow, that was fun. That was great music this morning. Thank you. So, hi, everyone. It's great to be with you this morning. My talk title today is Finding the Blessings in the Mess. And it could also be called What I Did with My Summer Vacation. But it is, what I learned this morning is that one should not write a talk about their experience until that experience is complete and they've really had the opportunity to process and absorb all the gifts from it. But that's not what happened with me, so I invite you on a journey with me as we walk through my summer. So one of the things you should know is we moved here a year ago. And as we moved away from the Okanagan, that's where we'd lived for more than 20 years, My son and his girlfriend also moved to Toronto. So there was a little part of me that felt kind of guilty that the home he would have come back to, we left. So I've been really looking forward to him coming to the island and his girlfriend, that they could come and feel at home in our new place. So over Christmas, they got caught up in all of those storms. They were supposed to come home, and it didn't happen. And they got rebooked, and then it didn't take off, and it was a bit of a disaster. So our Christmas dinner was on Zoom with them eating the same meal in their place in Toronto. But this summer, he was coming out. So that I had that to look forward to. And I had all these plans, the plans. You know, I was gonna take them everywhere. I really wanted them to love here and feel at home. So we picked them up in the Lower Mainland and took them up to our family cabin up in the Okanagan and spent a few days. And then we came back to the island. And that first night, my dad and stepmom were here, so I made a dinner for everybody. And at the beginning of the dinner, I said, "Does my voice sound a bit weird?" And everybody said, "No, I can't tell." By the end of the meal, I had no voice at all. And I proceeded to get sicker and sicker and sicker, which I then passed on to my son, who then passed on to his girlfriend. So this beautiful plan of a summer vacation, getting to know the local area, immersing ourselves in Vancouver Island life, became snot and miserable feeling on the couch. And I am a metaphysician, so I can keep a positive attitude. So I would think, okay, this is really unfortunate, but I'll rest, and in the morning I'll wake up and I'll feel better. And I didn't. And then I would think that again, and then I didn't again. And this turned into a sinus infection and a thing, and it's like 2 full weeks of being sick, and that's very unusual for me. So in that, I had a lot of time on my hands, time to really observe myself and my reaction to what was going on. And I got to learn a few things about myself along the way, because the story doesn't end there. This was a big summer for me. This is the first summer I've been officiating weddings, so I had some weddings booked. And I was invited to speak at a conference in California, so that was booked. And I was not getting better. So there was a lot to chew on in that experience. But you know, in some way, it all worked out. I mean, I'm here, I'm back to full health, and I'm so grateful. But there were hiccups along the way. So I just started to get better as we were back in the Okanagan for a family reunion. Then we drove to California. At the conference there, I was still resting. And the day of my talk, I thought, you know what? I actually feel pretty healthy. Like, how great is this? The timing of it. And I had full energy, and I was able to give my talk. And then we drove home. And on the way home, I thought, boy, this drive is terrible. I am feeling really awful. It must just be the long drive. And then I get a message from somebody at the conference saying, just tested positive for COVID. You might want to test yourself. So that's where my summer vacation went. I then caught COVID. So I got to spend about a full month not doing any of the things I thought I would be doing. But thankfully, there was a grace in it all, that I was well enough to do the weddings that I had scheduled, that I was well enough to do that talk. And then I had an opportunity to look at the mess, the rest of the mess. So can you relate to when you're in your life and there's just this mess going on and you think, oh, it'll be better tomorrow, and then it's not, and it grows, and you think, what the heck is going on here? Have you had moments like that? So for me, part of it is about finding the blessings in the mess. You know, what I learned when I have experiences like this, for me, it's an opportunity to do a bit of a spiritual tune-up. We have beautiful principles, but I know for myself, sometimes the way I use those principles is a little off. So one of the things is that I know my consciousness creates my reality. So I have been planting the seed to have this beautiful visit with my son for a very long time. And what I realized, though, is that I had outlined exactly what that needed to look like. It needed to look like us out and sightseeing. It needed to look like me being the mom who cooked all his favorite meals. It needed to look like a certain thing. I had created an outline. One of my teachers used to say that anything in life is either a living idea in the mind of God or a living idea in the mind of me. So I had created a living idea in the mind of me about what our visit would be like. But you know, in 2 weeks, and my son being sick as well, ended up extending his stay with us, we sat on the couch and we talked in between naps and feeling sorry for ourselves. But we had such a deep connection. And at the end of the trip, both he and his girlfriend said, you know, this place started to feel like home just because we spent so much time here. We really got to just be in this place and care for each other and care for ourselves. So we didn't get the sightseeing, but we got that what I originally wanted. So what a good reminder for me that it is not my job to outline. Would I go back and do it again had I have the choice? No, that's not how I would love that experience to go. But sometimes when we can stay open to the possibility, and we know that our thought creates, I had planted that seed. There was no mistake in that. Sometimes we need to let go of how it unfolds. So part of it as well, and again, this is where we can get into the, why is this happening to me? If my consciousness was better, wouldn't it have been different? And you know what? I don't find that to be a terribly productive space. Anything in my experience right now was created by a consciousness in the past. So to sit here and stew about what it is not terribly helpful. So one of the things I think is so important is that we can learn to make friends with the present moment, to accept what is, and to accept that it won't always be this way. So I had that opportunity this summer, and if I didn't get it the first time, I got it with the second illness and then the third illness, and it came back to show itself a few times. And it's all okay. There is a grace to life that sometimes when we can surrender how we thought it should be, then life shows up. It is conspiring for our highest good. So in all of this, what I noticed is when I can accept what is, and I can accept that it won't always be this way, I stay open. And when I stay open, I still have the feelings that come through, and as long as I don't resist them, they just can float right through me. I think it was Jill Bolte Taylor who talked about a feeling just lasts 90 seconds. It's up to us if we're going to hang on to it and nurture it and look at it and build it all up. But just a feeling itself passes through us. Again, that's that grace of life. I did have moments where I was like, are you kidding me right now? Why is this happening to me? I had those moments for sure. But as long as I didn't stop there and build a house in that, I could just let that flow through. And the Buddhists talk about that as this concept of the second arrow of suffering. And what they talk about is the first arrow is the pain we experience, a suffering, a loss, a difficulty in our lives. The second arrow is our reaction to it. So I get to choose my reaction to what is. And I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we were talking about some losses and betrayals in relationships. And we were talking about one of the really hard things when we have a betrayal with somebody close to us is a sense of powerlessness. Like we didn't get a say in it. It was done without our agreement to it. And the best thing we can do to empower ourselves after that is to choose how we react. We have that opportunity to stop that second arrow of suffering. So if we can accept what is, this was my summer holiday, and it felt pretty rotten at the time, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. It is one summer. I'm grateful. I enjoy good health most of the time. So accepting what is, recognizing its impermanence, feeling the feelings that come in, allowing myself when the frustration comes in, not to stop it and squash it and try and fight it away, but just let it flow through me. And then, especially if you're not well and you spend a lot of time lying in bed, the opportunity is there to daydream. We get to imagine. One of the things summer is great because often I'm out and I'm exercising. And one of the things I thought is I feel like my body is getting weaker as I'm not out exercising. So I spent a lot of time just daydreaming about my body being strong and fit and flexible and planting those seeds. I have the opportunity, as we talked about, what's happening today is yesterday's consciousness, but I have the opportunity today to plant the seeds for tomorrow. So I get to daydream and I get to imagine the experience I want to have. And in that, it develops that opportunity, that possibility mindset, and it develops this joyful expectancy. And this really, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of a crappy summer, but I've had some of the most beautiful moments in this crappy summer. And can you imagine if I was shut down and not open to seeing those? Then it just would have compounded, right? And when we, the idea of that, just allowing ourselves to feel it, but not being consumed by the feelings. And then we have that opportunity to notice those beautiful moments. I did a wedding out on a beach, and it was a couple who just immigrated from England, and they didn't think about the tide. So when we got there, the tide was in. So there wasn't much beach. So it involved some wading through the water, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So I really believe that we have the opportunity that, life can be really messy sometimes, but we get to find the blessings in that mess. And so I want to tell you another story about a couple. I am loving doing weddings because you get to know people's love stories, and they're really sweet and amazing. So I met with a couple this weekend, and they are getting married. And their love story is, I think, a perfect example of finding blessings in the mess. So the bride had moved up island from Victoria, and her husband had bought a place as their sort of retirement place, and he got sick, and he got very sick, and she ended up caring for him, and he passed. And in the end, she determined that being up island by herself was not really the best option, so she sold her place and moved back to Victoria. She had done a whole renovation to this place. So on one trip through, she took all of the sort of paperwork for all the renovations and wanted to drop it off for the new owner. And she met a man who had bought her place that she cared for her husband at the end of life. And this was through COVID, and they started having dinner together once a week. And they built this relationship, and they are now getting married in October. And the coolest thing is that the groom, his 99-year-old mother, will be coming out from Montreal to be there at the wedding. Isn't that a beautiful example of finding the blessings in the mess. I love that story, and I think that things can be as challenging, either on just a small scale or in a really big kind of life-altering way. But these principles of staying open and allowing and accepting what is, they work for us on all levels. We're feeling a little discombobulated this weekend with everything going on in Kelowna. Some of our friends have lost their homes, and just watching, and one of the homes we lived in is under evacuation alert. But again, this is that opportunity in the mess that we can look for those blessings. And it in no way negates the severity or the seriousness of what's going on. What it does is it gives us the internal fortitude to look for the opportunities and possibilities and to plant the seeds for the experience we want to have. So, should we do a song before and then I'll do a meditation with you. Thank you.
Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Be still, be still, be still, and know that I am God.
So I'm going to lead us into this meditation. By reading a poem. And this is called The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So I just invite you to close your eyes and just breathe into this now moment. To just recognize and accept and allow what is. However your physical body is feeling in this moment, your emotional body, whatever you have going on in your life, just invite you to allow and accept. All of the guests, just to invite them in. And in this space of allowing, just recognize that flow of life, the impermanence of what is, the movement of emotion, within that wholeness of the one, life flows. Just allow yourself to immerse yourself in the flow without any resistance. Just opening your heart with a joyful expectancy. Knowing that good is your birthright. That Spirit's grace is active in your life right here and right now. That Spirit's grace is active in all life. There is an infinite wholeness within which we each move and have our being. Allow yourself, your imagination, your heart, and your wonder to open to the possibilities within that wholeness. Imagination to open to the experience you would like to have, knowing that you are planting the seeds for a beautiful future. As you rest in this guest house, allowing all the guests to enter, knowing that you are opened up for delights, that Spirit's wholeness is expressing through you, that Spirit's wisdom is within you, and that you are surrounded by Spirit's grace in all moments. So in this open-hearted place, just allow that feeling of gratitude. Gratitude for the blessings in this moment. Gratitude for the blessings that have come before this moment. Gratitude for all the beautiful blessings yet to come. Right here and right now, I know that God is good all the time. All the time. God is good. Namaste.
At least it was just kind of in the right key.
Hallelujah, Christ within me. Hallelujah. Christ within me. Hallelujah. Christ within me. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That was a beautiful talk. I just wanted to tag on to that. I played a bunch of shows last week, and I made one mistake, and it really bugged me. Because I was playing this song from Cabaret, maybe this time, I'll get lucky. And it's very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went, yeah, I'm gonna modulate to F major later. Oh, 4 chord. And I played the 4 chord of F major, which sounds like this together. It was so bad that even my fiance after the show went, did you make a mistake? It's like, we don't talk about that. But the interesting thing was, in that, those 10, milliseconds where you're processing this and you quickly shift and you're freaking out and you're in front of all these people and oh my God, and your heart rate goes through the roof. This friend of mine, I remember one time I made another mistake. I know this is a really terrible confession. Playing in Vancouver, playing this Patsy Cline show, and I made a mistake, and then I immediately made another mistake, and then I immediately made another mistake. And I went to him at intermission, and I was conducting, and he was like, hey man, what happened? I was like, well, I played that wrong note, and then I was thinking about that wrong note, and then I played another wrong note, and then I was thinking about that wrong, and he goes, oh, dude. First lesson of making a mistake. Don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Just, you gotta let it go. I'm like, well, why? Because it just happened. He goes, no, because exactly what happened will happen again. You will make another mistake and another mistake. So the first arrow may be pain, but all the suffering that follows after, it's the same rules apply, right? Same rules apply. So in the spirit of that, let's have an improvisation that has a mistake in it. And we'll just work it in. Because there's also the Miles Davis quote, which is if you make a mistake, you're only one note away from a good note, so. Which is usually true. Let's see. A good mistake, or sounds like a mistake. Key do I want to play in? Let's do E flat.
Fabulous.
A good mistake gives it lots of momentum, you know?
It does. I think most of my musical favorites is when there's a little something and then there's the resolution. And that one was just full of them. Thank you. What a great lesson and congruency to what we talked about this morning. Embrace the mistakes. Love them all. All right, thank you. All right, community news. So this Tuesday is our special general meeting, 7 p.m. on Zoom. The link has been in your newsletter. We'll send out a reminder on Tuesday, so please be sure to join us as we deal with these very important questions. Change of location for next week, which is our all-island service. We were going to be at Cavallotti Lodge, but because of difficulties with a detour and sound, we have moved it back here. And so everyone is welcome. We'll make as much space as we can for Reverend Vicky and Anna Harvey. Spiritual Mischief, which just, hey, we got to be here for that one, right?
I love that already.
And there will be a barbecue following. And next week, we are reviving our Love in Action teams. It's time. We're taking new steps, moving into a new reality for ourselves. We want everybody who wants to be in sacred service and deriving joy from that. So the team will have sign-up sheets next week, so get ready. We'll see you then. In Victoria, Thomas is in Victoria today, and once a month they have an in-person gathering, which we'll tell you about next time. And the next prayer circle will be the second Sunday in September because of the Labor Day holiday. And in Comox, same thing, just a reminder for the members there to please join us on Tuesday as well for the members' meeting. And save the date. September the 9th is the annual, I think it's the third or fourth annual picnic we've had together in Victoria at Elk Lake Beaver Lake Park. And Diane has come up with a wonderful idea. Why don't we carpool? So there is a form on the table in the other room where Diane has her cards. If you'd like to sign up as a driver or a passenger, we'll do what we can to get everybody connected up. And Friday, the Family Fun Night is going to be October 13th at Cavallotti Lodge, and Diane is looking after that. Mainly it's a fundraising event and full of auctions and things, so start thinking now about what you can make or do or bring, something of value but is no longer necessarily serving you. Maybe you can build a birdhouse or knit a scarf, or you have a beautiful piece of Ming vase pottery that you don't need anymore. Or you can cook a dinner for 12 people, or you can pick people up at the airport for the next 20 years. You know, just think about what you can contribute that somebody else will pay money for. Just thought we'd give you warning and lots of time to think about that. And of course, ongoing in Nanaimo, we have Tai Chi on Tuesdays, Course of Miracle on Thursdays, and Sharon has her Full Moon Circle and Women of Wisdom groups. And the next Full Moon Circle is next Sunday. Monday, the 28th, because I'm not sure why, but it's changed from Sunday to Monday. All right.
We have a board meeting at 6 o'clock.
We have a board meeting at 6 o'clock. So all the details of all the events in all our areas are on our website at www.unityvancouverisland.com. And of course, we have a pre-service meditation every Sunday morning from 10 till 10:15 in our meditation room. You're welcome to join us. And again, thank you for all you give everyone. I'm looking around and seeing new volunteers are so excited to be joining us and taking part in things, and volunteers who have been here since before dirt, and will be here afterwards. So thank you for everyone, and for your financial contributions as well. If you're able to donate in this way, donations at unityvancouverisland.com is your easiest way. And here come the kids. coming up to share? Anybody want to come up and say hello?
Painted rocks.
Painted rocks.
The rocks must dry.
Okay,
Let the
let's
rocks
tell the
rest.
kids what we think about them. We see the divine light shining as you. We love and appreciate you exactly the way you are. Would you repeat our vision? Unity Vancouver Island is a growing, unfolding, expanding center of light and love, mighty to attract its good and radiate good to others. And our mission is transforming and enriching lives through spiritual awareness. Thank you. Iris will not be in the prayer room today. Margaret, will you be in the prayer room today? Maybe. If you need prayer, catch Margaret. Sorry, I fell asleep on that one. Okay, I think we have our prayer for protection at this point. Please join me. The light that is God surrounds us. We are one with the light. The love that is God enfolds us. We are one with the love. The power that is God protects us. We are one with the power. The presence that is God watches over us. We are one with the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and so it is. Amen. And please join us for our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with love as our center. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your attendance.